All right, this is the topic 3 review. So we're a little too far zoomed in here. Okay, so number 1, we want to rotate the shape 270 degrees clockwise. So the first thing we're going to do for a 90 or a 270 degree rotation is we're going to flip the coordinates. So 0, 2 is going to become 2, 0. 10, 1 is going to become 1, 10. And then 9, 6 is going to become 6, 9. Okay, and then step 2 is to look for the signs. So if we're looking at point A, this was point A. Point A is on the y-axis. We're going to go 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270. That's going to put us 3/4 of the way around. That's going to put us on the x-axis here. So it's going to be negative 2, 0, because we're on the left. Okay, so we'll put a point there, A prime. Okay, and then these other 2 points, point B and point C. So this is point B, and this is point C. These 2 points are in quadrant 2. So if we're in quadrant 2, we're going to go 90 degrees, 180 degrees, and then 270 degrees. That's going to put us in quadrant 3. And the signs for quadrant 3 are negative, negative. So we'll do negative 1, negative 10, and negative 6, negative 9. Okay, and then we could draw those in. So negative 1, negative 10. There's B prime. And then negative 6, negative 9. There is C prime. And if we connect those, there's our 270 degree rotation, right? 270 degree rotation clockwise. Okay. The next one is 90 degrees clockwise. So again, we're going to do the same thing where we're going to flip the coordinates first. So 1, 3 is going to become 3, 1. 8, 0 is going to become 0, 8. 9, 8 is going to become 8, 9. And then 2, 7 is going to become 7, 2. So that's step 1, flip the coordinates. Step 2 then is to find the signs. So let's start with this point here, point B. It's on the x-axis. So if we go 90 clockwise, it should end up on the y-axis. That's negative 8. So that's 0, negative 8. Okay, and the other points are in quadrant 1. So if they're in quadrant 1 and they go 90 degrees clockwise, we're going to end up in quadrant 4. And the signs for quadrant 4 are positive, negative. So these should all be positive 3, negative 1, positive 8, negative 9, positive 7, negative 2. They all end up down here in quadrant 4. So this was B prime. And then 3, negative 1 should be A prime. And then 8, negative 9 is C prime. And then 7, negative 2 is D prime. And if we connect those, we can see our rotated figure, right? We've rotated it 90 degrees clockwise. Okay, so switch the coordinates, and then these 3 are headed to quadrant 4. Then the last one, B, which is on the x-axis, ends up on the y-axis. Right, the third one is 180 degrees, which is a little easier than the other 2. All we're doing is changing the sign. So negative 4, 0 becomes positive 4, 0. Negative 7, negative 2 becomes positive 7, 2. And negative 9 becomes positive 9, 9. Okay, and if we graph those, we have 4, 0. We have 7, 2. And we have 9, 9. And if we connect those, there is our graph. We've rotated that 90 degrees. I'm sorry, 180 degrees. Well, that would be 180 clockwise, but that's going to be the same as 180 degrees counterclockwise, right? 180 clockwise is the same as 180 counterclockwise. It's going to go to the same spot. All right. Number 4, draw all the lines of symmetry. So this one, there should be 6. There's 1. All right. We can also split it this way. So this half and this half. Split it here, 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 and here. So for any of these lines, if you pick one of these lines, we'll be able to reflect it over that line and it will match up on the other side. Here you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And then here you have 1 and 2. Here you can do vertical or you can do horizontal. Here we can do one diagonal one and then one that's up and down. Okay, that's number 4, the lines of symmetry. So we're looking for reflectional symmetry and drawing in the lines of symmetry. Number 5 is rotational symmetry. So if we were to rotate this one, it's got 8 different sides. And if we rotate it, each time we rotate it, those sides are going to match up. So it's going to have 8 different, whoops. If we rotate it all the way around 360, it's going to match up 8 different times. So we have to do 1/8 times 360. And that's going to give us 45 degrees. Right, so one rotation is going to be 45 degrees. If we rotate another 45, we're going to be at 90. Another 45, that's 135. 180. Another 45 is 225. 270. And then 315 degrees. So every time you rotate it 45 degrees, it's going to match up. So if you rotate it 45, it matches up. If you rotated it 45 twice, which is 90, it would match up. If you rotate it 45 3 times, which is 135, it would match up. If you rotate it 45 degrees 4 times, which is 180, it would match up. 5 times 225, 6 times 270, 7 times 315, and then 8 times would be back all the way around at 360. For B, if you rotate it, it's going to match up 4 times. So we're going to do 1/4 times 360. Right, every fourth of a rotation, it's going to match up. And so that's going to be 90 degrees. So if you rotate it 90 degrees, it matches up. If you rotate it another 90, which is 180, it'll match up. If you rotate it to 70, it's going to match up. And then it'll match up all the way again around at 360. So we should have 90. 180 works, and 270. Okay, this one, if we rotate it around, it's only going to match up one other time. So it's going to be 1/2 times 360. Which is 180. Right, and that's the only time 180 will go into 360. Okay. Number 6 and 7. So again, this one will be multiple choice on the test. So you're not going to have to come up with your own. You're going to look at the composition transformations that they have for you. But if we look at this, what do we do first here? We're going to reflect across a line. Okay, so big R for reflection. And halfway between D and D prime is right there. Halfway between C and C prime is right there. So there's our line of reflection. We're reflecting across the line y equals 0.5. And there's a number of different ways we can get from A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime to A double prime, B double prime, C double prime, D double prime. One way we can do that is by rotating around point B. So if we rotate around point B 90 degrees clockwise, okay, so let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So above would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here would be A prime. Right? C prime would be right here. And then D prime. Right, so this would be our 90-degree rotation. It's really negative 90 because we're going clockwise, and it's around point B prime. Right, and then we can translate that one to the right and one up. If we translate that one to the right and one up, then we get to our final destination. So the big thing here is just to remember the order of what we're doing. We're reflecting first. And since we're reflecting first, that's what you have to write on the right, because we're reflecting the original. So really we should include the original here, which is A, B, C, D. Right, so what we're doing first here, if I get a different color, right, is we're reflecting the original A, B, C, D. And that's going to get us this one, the A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. And then we're going to rotate that reflection. And then we're going to translate that rotation. So we got to remember the order matters in which we're writing. It's the translation of the rotation of the reflection. So we're reflecting A, B, C, D, we're rotating the reflection, and then we're translating that reflection. I'm sorry, that rotation. Rotating A, B, C, D. I'm sorry, reflecting A, B, C, D. We're rotating that reflection, and then we're translating that rotation. Okay, over here, the first thing we're going to do is a rotation. Again, 90 degrees. So I'm going to put negative 90 because it's clockwise. I could also write 270. Around point A. And we're rotating triangle ABC. Okay, and that's going to give us this image A prime, B prime, C prime. And then we're going to translate that rotated image 5 to the right and 2 down. 5 to the right and 2 down. So it's the translation of the rotation. So you got to make sure you put it in the right order. We do the rotation first. So that is what we write at on the right side. And then we do the translation of that rotation. All right, number 8 here. Let's graph the original. So 0, 0, there's A. 8, 1 is B. And 5, 5 is C. Okay. So we need to do again, we got to go in reverse order here. So it's the reflection of the rotation. So we need to do the rotation first so we can reflect the rotation. So we need to do the the rotation 180 degrees first. Okay. And so our rule for reflecting 180 is just to change the sign. So 0, 0, that's going to stay 0, 0. Okay, 8, 1 is going to become negative 8, 1. I'm sorry, negative 8, negative 1. And then 5, 5 is going to become negative 5, negative 5. So negative 8, 1 here is B prime. And then negative 5, there is C prime. And then A prime was still at the middle. Right, so there's our 180-degree rotation. And now we're going to reflect the rotation. So let's do green. Right, we're going to reflect that rotated image across the x-axis. right? We could just use our rule for reflecting across the x-axis, and that is that the x value stays the same, the y value changes sign. So 0, 0 is on the line of reflection, so that's going to stay the same, a double prime. Okay, -8, 1 is going to become -8, +1, or you could just count. B prime is 1 below, so B double prime should be 1 above the line of reflection, -8, 1. And then 5 below, you go 5 above, or you can use the rule. The x stays the same, the y changes signs. Then you can put in our graph. The last one there was C double prime. Okay, so we rotated 180 degrees. And then we reflected across the x-axis here. Rotated 180 degrees and then reflected across the x-axis. All right, the next one, let's graph the original. Q is 3, 3. Let me do a different color. Let me do red. R is -1, 4. And then +2, 6. So there's R, Q, and S. Right. First up is reflecting across the y-axis. So if we reflect across the y, we can either count, right? R is 1 to the left. R prime should be 1 to the right. S is 2 to the right, so S prime here would be 2 to the left. Q is 3 to the right, so Q prime is 3 to the left. Okay, or the other way we could have done it is we could have used the rule. So if you're reflecting over the y-axis, that means you're only flipping left and right, not up and down. So we're going to switch the signs on the axis and leave the y's the same. So that would be -3, 3, 1, 4, and -2, 6. And that is a reflection across the y-axis. Okay, then we're going to take that reflected image and we're going to rotate it 90 degrees counterclockwise. Right? If they don't specify degrees, we're going counterclockwise. So now we're going to rotate that reflected image 90 degrees counterclockwise. So the first thing we do for a 90 and a 270 degree rotation is switch the coordinates. So again, 3, 3 is going to become 3, 3. 1, 4 is going to become 4, 1. And 2, 6 is going to become 6, 2. All right, and then step 2 is to find the signs. So Q is in quadrant 2. So we're going 90 degrees counterclockwise. That's going to put us in quadrant 3. So that's negative, negative. R is in quadrant 1. So if we go 90 degrees counterclockwise, R prime, I'm sorry, is in quadrant 1. R double prime will be in quadrant 2. So that's negative, positive. And then S prime is in quadrant 2. You go 90 counterclockwise, you're going to be in quadrant 3. That's negative, negative. So -6, -2. And then we can plot those. So there's -3, -3. That's Q double prime. -4, 1 is going to be R double prime. And then -6, -2 is S double prime. And there is our rotation. Right, so we reflected across the y-axis. Right, reflected across the y, and then we rotated 90 degrees counterclockwise. Next up here, number 10. So let's graph the points. 9, -3 is D. 6, -7 is E. 3, -3 is F. And then 5, -1 is G. And we can connect those. We're going to translate 10 to the left, 1 down. So I'm just going to count these out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to the left, 1 down. There's D prime. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to the left, 1 down. There's F prime. G is at 5, so it's going to go to -5 and then down 1. E's at 6, so it's going to go to -4 and then down 1. And there is my new translated figure. All the points are going 10 to the left and 1 down. If you wanted to use the coordinates, that's fine. You'd subtract 10 from all of these, right? So that's going to be -1, -4, -7, -5. And then all the y's, we're going to subtract 1. So that would be -4, -8, -7. So down 1, so that's -4. And then -2. So all the x's are going -10, all the y's are -1. So 10 left, down 1. Okay, and that was translation going to the vector -10, -1. Okay, second thing we're going to do then is the rotation, 180 degrees. So when we rotate 180, all we do is change the sign. So -1, -4 becomes 1, 4. -4, -8 becomes 4, 8. -7, -4 becomes 7, 4. Then -5, 2 becomes 5, 2. We can graph those. So that's going to be D double prime. 4, 8 is E double prime. 7, 4 is F double prime. And then 5, 2 is G double prime. Okay, and then the last thing we have to do is reflect over the line x equals 2. So the last thing we need to do then is a reflection across the line x equals 2. So x equals 2 is a vertical line at 2, right here. So here we just have to count. D is 1 to the left, so D triple prime is 1 to the right. E is 2 to the right, so we need to go 2 to the left for E triple prime. F is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right, so we have to go 5 to the left. And G is 1, so 1, 2, 3, 2 to the left. Right, 3 to the right, we go 3 to the left, and that is G triple prime. And there is our reflected image. Reflecting over the line x equals 2. All we have to do is write our coordinates in here. So D triple prime, that's what, 3, 4. 3, 4. E triple prime is 0, 8. F triple prime is -3, 4. and G triple prime is -1, 2. Okay, and that's number 10. All right, last one's number 11. So let's start with our original in red. That's -3, 5, -4, 0, -8, -1. So M, A, T. Oops. Okay, we need to reflect across the line y equals 2, -2 first. So here's the line y equals -2. Right, so T is 1 above, T prime should be 1 below. A is 2 above, A prime should be 2 below. Okay, and then M is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 above. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll go 7 below. That's M prime, A prime, T prime. We use the line tool here. There's our reflection across the line y equals -2, and we can write our coordinates in. So M prime looks like -3, -9. A prime -4, -4. And T prime -8, -3. And again, that was a reflection over the line y equals -2. Right. All right, next up is the reflection across the y-axis now. So this time we're going to reflect across the y-axis. All right, so M prime is 1, 2, 3 to the left. We need to go 3 to the right. There is M double prime. Okay, A is 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right. There's A double prime. And then T is 8 to the left. We need to go 8 to the right. We can connect those. Again, if we wanted to use the rule, all we have to do is change the sign of the X values. We're reflecting over the Y-axis, so it's going left and right. So it's Y's are staying the same because it's not going up or down. So we could have just used the previous ones. That's 3, -9, 4, -4, and then 8, -3. Okay, and then the last thing here is our 90-degree rotation. So we're rotating the reflected image this time. So first thing for 90-degree rotation is flip the coordinates. So 3, 9 is going to become 9, 3. 4, 4 is going to still be 4, 4. And then 8, 3 is going to become 3, 8. All right, next thing is to find the signs. So all of these points, A double prime, M double prime, T double prime, all three of these are in quadrant 4. So if we're going 90 degrees counterclockwise, we're going to end up in quadrant 1, which means they're all positive, positive. So they're all going to end up in quadrant 1, which is positive, positive, 90 degrees counterclockwise. Okay, and if we just graph them, there's M triple prime, A triple prime, and then T triple prime is 3 and 8. So reflection, reflection, and then a translation. Okay, and that's it for the topic 3 review.